السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. حد سامعني؟ حد معايا؟ طيب تمام. اوكي، هعمل شير بس للسلايدز. طب كده واضح السلايدز؟ شايفين السلايدز؟ هم؟ اوكي طيب، هنبدأ على طول. Today إن شاء الله we will see how to secure access in Linux using IPTables, and this is actually this is the last lecture of the course, inshallah. So other lectures will be revision and makeups and project. So the remaining projects, the remaining will be online. I will يعني إن شاء الله المحاضرات اللي جايه هتكون اونلاين. المحاضرات اللي جايه هتكون اونلاين، هتكون مراجعه او هنتكلم على البروجكت او مراجعه او حد عنده ميك اب هيعمله كده يعني. اوكي، فدي اخر محاضره ان شاء الله. ما يهمكش يا يوسف، ما فيش مشكله. ف اوكي، ف securing access in Linux using IPTables. Okay, let's start Fedora because maybe we will need Fedora to demonstrate some of the concepts. Start. Okay. اوكي يوسف، ماشي ان شاء الله. So today we will cover the IPTables, the how to describe IPTables, configure IPTables, and allow block access to various services using IPTables. Actually, IPTables was not the first package or you can say software that or firewall that is used with Linux, but before IPTables we had the TCP wrappers. The TCP wrappers add the additional layer of protection to the network services. It can control the access to the network and network services. It was like IPTables, but it is deprecated now. It is not used anymore. It was found on user library and library wrap.a. This is the location of the library. So you can go there to this configuration file and configure the library. It has two sets of rules, the allow and deny. Also, you can find the two sets of rules at etc hosts.allow and etc hosts.deny. The etc hosts.allow contains all the allowed connections, and etc hosts.deny contains all the denied connections. I see some people sending chat messages. Okay. Okay, I'll try to finish as quickly as possible. Inshallah, before 3 o'clock, inshallah, we'll finish everything. To protect valuable information in the operating system, if you see this is a network, and this network subnet is 192.168.10.0, over 24, which is 255, 255, 255.0. And this we need to protect this network. This network is connected to the internet through this router. So we want to filter the traffic coming out from the network and coming to the network. So we put in between, we put this firewall. So the firewall is going to filter the traffic coming in from the internet and coming out from the network. This is the firewall. It's like, you can say it's like the patrol, or yeah, the patrol for the road patrol. You can say traffic road patrol. It stands in the middle of the road and filter the cars. If a car is violating rules, they capture any car is violating rules and pass any car going with the rule or not violating any kind of rules. So it's like, yeah, it's similar to this police when they stand in the road and filter the cars. So they pass some cars and they stop some cars. It is exactly similar to this concept. So IP tables is a firewall utility, uses policies, you can say, allow the chain of policies that allow or block traffics. Also, it comes with the any Linux distribution has already installed IP tables. They uses a list of rules and they process the rules in order. It's like a chain, actually. Chain means they are connected rules, a collection of rules, as you see here in the figure. This is the first rule, the second rule, the third rule, and the fourth rule. They are connected together. So the firewall checker check the first one, then pass to check the second one, then pass to check the third one, and so forth until it goes to the last rule. We have three types of channels here. We have the input, forward, and output. The input traffic for any data input from the network. The output is any traffic coming out from the network to the internet. And forward means it works like a router. So it filters out any data coming from the network to the internet, or from the internet to the network. This is forward. Forward means it passes forward the data coming to it. It doesn't have to block or deny any data, just forward this data. The rule processing in IP tables, as you see here, we have input policy, we have forward policy, and we have output policy. If we go there now and we check the IP tables, let's check together this one. If we check the IP tables, we can check here. We can write IP tables dash L. IP tables dash L is need some permissions, so we sudo IP tables. We have here the IP tables. They contain three policies actually: the input policy, the forward policy, and the output policy. Actually, they are empty by default. So they are, is like there is nothing allowed. By default, there is nothing allowed because there is no rule out there. So anything is blocked. For example, if you try now to use FTP or HTTP or anything, it will be access denied because it doesn't have any entry here in the IP tables. We cannot use the connection without having entry here, because I told you before, the Linux is working in the closed policy, so everything by default is closed unless you open it manually. We didn't have any port opened here. So by default, everything is blocked. IPTables-L displays all the firewall rules. IPTables-L grep policy, so it just display anything or any rule contain the word policy. IPTables-D input 3, this is D, which is delete, and save, which is saving the rules, and -F, which is flushing. Flushing means clear everything inside the IP tables, and restore, which is restoring back the rules. This is very fun because if you want to play with the firewall rules, you can have a backup copy of the firewall, so you will not lose them. Here you can have a backup and then flush, which is removing everything, and then restore them after that. After you play with the firewall policies, you can make a backup restore the backup from the backup. First of all, we need to drop all the traffic. We can have that manually done by using the IP tables. We can write down the IP tables policy output drop. So we write there IP tables policy input and then drop. Everything should be in capital letter. IP tables policy. What the problem? Oh, sorry. This is an option, so it should be double dash. And here we have to use the sudo because we need some permission to add something to the IP tables by default. Here, yeah, here we go. It works. Here, the input drop and the output. The output also drop, and the forward also drop. Now we can display the IP tables. Okay, you can say su dash to get rid of everything, write in sudo. So we write IP tables dash L. Here we go. We have everything is dropped. How to make sure that everything is dropped? You can check using the Firefox. You can try to access, for example, google.com. Everything is dropped. Everything is dropped. Okay. Okay. Now we need to open the traffic. To open some traffic. For example, we want to open the HTTP and HTTPS. How to do that? We can use the this is after dropping all the connections. When we try to surf the internet, it's not working. So now we can add the IP tables, the output accept, only the output accept. We change the output to be accept. So we go to the terminal again, close this. I shouldn't close this, I don't know. Should be, yeah, now it's okay. The output, only the output. We go to the output. Okay, sudo IP tables dash dash policy output. We make it accept, not drop. There's no need for the sudo, by the way, even it's wrong spelling. Policy, I think policy is not correct. I'm writing many things, so spelling. Okay, now is okay. check IPTables-L. We have the output to be accept, should be accept. Yeah, it's working. And now if we serve the internet should work. It's not working. Input, accept. Try again. Yeah, it's working. Now it's working. You can see now it's working. So we made these changes to the IP tables. We provide the input and the output to be accept, not drop. Now, if we check the IP tables, you can see we have the input accept, the output accept, and this makes the traffic working. Okay. Creating rules. Now we move to the most important part. We have to append in a rule. We have to have the option to -A. -A means append. Append means add some rules to the IP tables. We can create a rule for any chain. For example, we can create a rule for input, for output, or for forward policies. We specify the protocol using -B. We specify the port using ~D port, and we allow or accept or drop this is the option or the action itself, either accept or drop. Here, for example, here we can block incoming connection for web server using the any here this rule IPTables-A input -P TCP ~D port AT which is like judgment is drop. So we can add this to the table actually here. IPTables-A input, then -D TCP P TCP D port, which is port number 80, and the J accept. Let's check this -P TCP, the ~D port, and then accept. If we click enter, then it is accepted. By the way, is not drop actually. Here we make it drop, so we can change it again. We add drop, and we list IP tables. You will find that IP tables contains two opposite, one accept and one drop. This way is not going to work. We have to remove one of them. How to remove an entry? We can remove the entry using the IP tables -D, and then write the number, which is the location. Here, if you return back to this slide, is very important. We want to remove. So -D, then input 3, which is input. Here we have to input 1 and 2. We want to remove the 1, the first. So input 1. IP tables to see if it is working or not. Yes, it is removed. We removed the accept one because this is the first one in the input accept policy. So we can now remove, we learn how to remove any entry from the IP tables by using -d. Okay, now we have this drop. Okay, this is the web server. Also, if you want to add one for the SSH server, you can do that. You can also add for the FTP server. The only change here is the port number. Here is 80, here is 22, here is FTP is 20 and 21. We have these numbers. The most important the only difference here is the port number. Here is 80, here is 22, here is 20 and 21. Okay. Okay, let's try to use SSH. So we do the same like this and change the port number to 22. But here we don't need accept, we drop, we need accept. Also for the file transfer protocol, which is 20 and 21. We can see all the entries by IPTables -L. Here we go, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 entries in the IPTables. If we want to remove, we can use the D, as we have seen before. Okay. Okay. If you want to remove anything again, if you want to remove any entry from here, you can remove it by the number. We have the IPTables, we have input number. For example, we want to remove this last one. We can remove it using this command, IPTables -d, and then this is in the input policy. Here we have input and forward and output. We need the input policy, so we write input. What is the number of the rule? 1, 2, 3, serial number 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the 4, so we remove the rule number 4. And then IPTables to check if it is already removed or not. We can find it is removed. The fourth one is removed. Here we have 3 on now. We can have a backup of the IPTables here. The backup using the save. So IPTable save to remove to make it to make a backup file. So let's try the IPTables save. IPTables save to a backup file, which is, for example, my tables.back, and flush IPTables -f. -f is flush. Flush means remove everything. So now -l is empty. It's empty now. But I want to remove to return it back, so we can return it back from the table, which is IPTables. This is load or what? Restore. Restore from this file, which is my tables.back. IPTables to check. Yes, return it back again. So we can use mainly this back file to back up our IPTables, to restore it back whenever we play with the rules and change it anything. I finished the lecture. If you have any question, you have any questions? I finished the lecture. If you have any questions, okay, everything is clear. Okay, I'm calling the attendance. I'm calling for the attendance just give me a second. By the way, it's mandatory now to go to make the evaluation. So I give you a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes to make the evaluation. Okay? You have يعني في الايفالويشن هتروح على الصفحة بتاعتك، هتلاقي في حاجة اسمها ايفالويشن. هعمل شير تاني. نعمل دلوقتي ايفالويشن وانا هشوف النسبة دلوقتي معاكم. في حاجة بص كده معايا، شايفين لسه اوكي. بص كده معايا في ايفالويشن، شوف الكورس بتاعنا اللي هو 2903. ادخل واعمل ايفالويشن. اوكي، ادخل دلوقتي واعمل ايفالويشن عشان اشوف النسبة. ها، مين اللي خلص؟ اللي خلص يبعت على الشات يقول فينيشد، يكتب فينيشد بس. ادخل واعمل ايفالويشن، واللي خلص يعمل لي يكتب لي فينيش على الشات. اوكي. Okay. Waiting for the others. Okay. Okay. Operating systems here. عبد الله جاسم.
موجود.
تمام. عبد العزيز حسن. عبد العزيز حسن. عبد الله هاشم. تمام. احمد سلطان.
Yes, sir.
اوكي. احمد سلطان. علي سعيد.
نعم دكتور.
تمام. عائشة. تمام. عيسى جاسم. تمام. عيسى عارف. عيسى عارف. حمدان علي. تمام. حسن علي.
نعم دكتور موجود.
تمام. حميد سعيد. حميد سعيد. خالد وليد. خالد وليد. خالد محمد. تمام. خليفة حميد. خليفة حميد. ماجد حمد.
نعم
ماجد
أستاذ
حمد.
موجود. نعم.
تمام. محمد عبد الله.
نعم دكتور.
تمام. سعيد موسى. تمام. صلاح محمد. صلاح محمد، يوسف يعقوب. تمام. طيب خليفة حميد. حاضر يا خليفة. اوكي حضرتك خلاص. حد تاني ما تحضرش؟ خلاص تمام. يلا اشوفكم على خير ان شاء الله. زي ما قلنا هو خلاص دي محاضرة اخر محاضرة. الباقي هيبقى يعني مراجعات، يعني مش هاخد فيه حضور، يعني اللي جاي مش هاخد فيه حضور خلاص. اوكي.
دكتور.
فهيبقى مراجعات في اي حاجة في البروجكت في
مشكور
الباقي.
دكتور، ما تقصر.
يلا الله يكرمكم. في سؤال ولا حاجة؟ طيب خلاص اشوفكم على خير ان شاء الله. مع السلامة.